Hi, I'm Anand, Telco Director for Red Hat Singapore, and your host today. I welcome you all to join the panel to get some insights on StarHub's transformation program called Cloud Infinity. Joining the panel with me is Ayush Sharma, CTO for StarHub. I would say the brain and heart behind Cloud Infinity. And to my left, Peng, Vice President and Southeast Asia Managing Director from HPE, playing a very key role of delivering this successful program. Yeah. Ayush, firstly, congratulations on getting such a big vision to a reality of what it is today with a very successful launch of the Cloud Infinity program. And as Red Hat, we are very proud to be associated with the whole program. We'll definitely hear more on your thoughts on how did you drive this program and the kind of innovation that you brought about alongside operational efficiency. So how did you get to this?
Well, thank you, Anand. I am incredibly proud to be part of this journey of transformation where, incredible set of people, both inside StarHub and outside StarHub partners such as Red Hat, HPE, to help us accomplish this massive milestone. Now, any change or any transformational change cannot be done without the right mindset, right vision, and right set of skill set. And as a telco, we didn't have a luxury of starting from a clean slate. So we have a legacy to defend, if I could use that term. And that legacy to defend is an issue for every mature industry when you have vertically integrated systems and you are offering critical infrastructure services. And for us to continue to provide those critical infrastructure services to our consumer, enterprise, and government, we had no luxury of disruption. But at the same time, we have to transform. We have to create new values. So how do you do that? I mean, it's a classical problem of achieving operational excellence versus driving innovation and creating values. So it's a nice balancing act. We had to do it. But again, as I said, the recipe is all about people and the mindset. And if you have the right support from your board, your management, from your internal team, from your ecosystem partners, I think anything can be accomplished. And I'm very privileged and proud to be achieving this milestone where we have delivered some substantial value and we have surpassed our expectations in terms of operational excellence and the cost efficiency we have driven from Cloud Infinity 1.0. And I'm super excited about what the future entails.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a great testimony coming from StarHub and you on how you have leveraged the open source model of driving the innovation. I think it will inspire a lot more people, both in IT and telco industries. Actually, that's very important. So as we know, no one walks the transformation path alone. It requires partnership and collaboration. So Katelyn, being the delivery partner here, how can you share more experience about what the collaboration has been between you, StarHub, and Red Hat?
Thank you, Anand, and big congratulations to Ayush and the entire StarHub team on your amazing Cloud Infinity journey.
Thank you.
Really, really glad to be part of this journey with StarHub. And it's really transforming StarHub from a quad play to infinite play, and hence elevating StarHub from just being a telco to a full-fledged digital life and digital services provider. So congratulations. And we're really, really excited to be part of this journey with StarHub to help to build StarHub's hybrid multi-cloud foundation. And this is done through deploying the HPE Morpheus cloud management platform. And this enables orchestration and automation of telco networks, software-defined data center, as well as the hyperscaler clouds. And here we continue to enhance our hybrid cloud delivery capabilities through strengthening partnerships with the ecosystem partners, of course, the best of breed partners. And Red Hat stood out to be the top partner for this project and we are actually leveraging the OpenShift container platform that simplifies the management, deployment, and the scaling of digital products.
Awesome. Thank you, Peng, for that partnership. So over to you, Ayush. So now all these building blocks are in place. You have a cloud-native approach. Are you looking at the new AI-native approach for the future now that Cloud Infinity is in place? How do you plan to do that with stepping up to the AI-native journey?
Look, I mean, if there's a one thing which you have done right from the very beginning is which, again, and I'm very fortunate the team thought about it, is about desirable business architecture and an alignment in technical architecture. And the technical architecture was very much governed by this 10 architecture principles. We put it in place. And the one of the architecture principle was neutrality, and which is what the kind of essence of hybrid multi-cloud. And us as a telco, we are a service provider. No kidding that we do want to become a technology company, but we don't have the resources to build products as the companies elsewhere do it, and the number of software developers or the AI scientists, etc. So the neutrality aspect of a service provider was baked into our architecture, which means cloud neutral, access neutral, and then AI neutral. So we have to be cloud native, and then shifting and lifting workloads from network, from content, from cyber, from enterprise and IT, bringing it to bear to kind of deliver those outcomes was very, very important. And we did it in a pragmatic, practical way, in a very systematic manner, with the help of people, tool capabilities, and the mindset, what you guys brought into the mix. To me, I think what is now remarkable is that we set the foundation in a cloud-native, cloud-neutral way, that it has become a microservices sort of a mix. So once you have a microservices mix, it's easier for you to encapsulate and capture and extrapolate that data, which telcos are not, generally speaking, very good at managing or monetizing or using the data in a way that it creates value for the end customers. So it's much easier, it's much cleaner from a microservices architecture point of view and cloud neutral point of view. So it gives us that ability. So then we built the data fabric. Once you build the data fabric around cloud neutral and infrastructure neutral point of view, then automatically you are very well poised and well positioned to kind of leverage different innovation AI brings to bear. Now that AI, you could apply it into your operational excellence to drive autonomous operations. You could apply into your customer ops, and sort of where it is already, there are a set of tools which are very mature, and then drive the customer experience to almost hyper-personalized connectivity and related sort of engagement. And last but not least, and also create new values, and through you sort of monetize and increase shareholder value. So to me, the foundation is right in place from tech stack point of view. It is right for AI, but again, we are doing it very cautiously. We are treading very cautiously with AI neutral posture, and then using the right set of tools within these three elements. We call it autonomous operations, customer experience, and monetization. And as we evolve, automatically we will see which tool set gives us the maximum value out of those initiatives. We'll kind of double down on those initiatives, etc.
Awesome. I mean, behind every statement that you said, I can see there's a lot of thought process that would have gone through, which has probably fueled the blueprint that you have today, which is hybrid, multi-cloud, cloud native, and AI native also for the future readiness. That also brings down the next thing, which is continuous innovation leads to continuous delivery, continuous operation. So HP being part of the day one and the day two kind of services, how prepared and how did you foresee this engagement model? Because it's a long-term engagement model and partnership for 5+ years. So how are you handling this?
Sure. There's day one, day two services. So for day one services, we really embed the reliability and the scalability into every single step in the design. And we conduct extensive and comprehensive pre-implementation, validation, testing, to ensure that the deployment is robust. This approach will then enable and empower StarHub to seamlessly innovate, integrate, to enable cloud-native development and deployment, and to harness the full potential of like Apsara Stack and OpenShift for the modern scalable architecture and applications, right? And then our day two services will then take care of the operational and the administrative aspects of the OpenShift platform. And this includes like namespace management, patching, backup, upgrades, updates, and so on, right? And this will then help free up StarHub's resources to do what is most important for StarHub and what matters most for StarHub. And this is really to drive innovations for Cloud Infinity.
Thank you, Peng. I mean, that's one of the KPIs that we started the program with.
Absolutely.
Right? So it really addresses that. And one of our early discussions, Ayush, was in the napkin architecture that you have popularized actually. What we discussed at that time was more about building a multi-cloud or multi-hybrid cloud. But I thought at that time was starting with an on-prem kind of a setup and then eventually moving on to the multi-cloud, right? But few things changed. You engage with the ROSA, which is the Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. It's kind of a managed service. You started that like a jumpstart for Cloud Infinity program, much ahead of the whole plan, which was, now when I retrospectively look at it, very smart thing. But what was the thought process at that time for you to take that change?
Well, I mean, you gotta like envisage the future, right? What is your desirable point of arrival and what the outcomes you want to deliver. So I think our business architecture had that in mind, that this is what we want to achieve in 3 years, 2 years, 5 years from now, and then work backwards from there. So the idea was that we had those certain set of objectives and goals, and we were working backwards in that, creating that blueprint. And the blueprint was very clear that, if there's a one tech stack which enables us is the hybrid multi-cloud for do that, which meets, and then again, we came up with these architecture principles. And these architecture principle was, as I said, neutrality was that what is the common glue across all hybrid scalers or hyperscalers or private cloud providers? What is a common glue? So I think it was a very clear answer. It was OpenShift, right? So it was OpenShift, and OpenShift on AWS, if we see as a managed OpenShift, that gives us the ability to, as a critical infrastructure provider, to stay in a regulated environment. Because we are dealing with critical infrastructure workloads. We had to standardize that fabric. Yeah. But at the same time, we have to give the flexibility to the enterprise customers where they can spawn more innovation on the fence. So standardized with OpenShift, but flexibility of what they're using today, AWS, Azure, Google, Tencent, and so on and so forth, or Alibaba, Cloudburst, absolutely. So then that sort of automatically became sort of, we are stubborn about the vision, but very flexible in terms of our execution. And execution-wise, okay, where we start with OpenShift first on which hyperscaler, then Nokia workloads were qualified and certified on AWS on ROSA. So, and Nokia had a partnership with Red Hat. So then we said, look, why don't we try Packet Core on putting on ROSA? And then we have OpenShift, which is managed, and that allows us to move and shift in workloads between private to public. And in essence, so that paid off, and that architecture and the tool set actually became a very repetitive for a variety of workloads. And guess what? Accidentally, sort of, we came across that these problems, how we are solving, it became a novel way for our other enterprise customer who are also handling critical infrastructure, be it in the airline industry, in the manufacturing industry, be it in defense industry, government, and so on and so forth. So it started to resonate a lot with them. So I think, and a lot of them use these hyperscalers, mind you, but they use it in a cloud native way. Now, but that connectivity is not embedded into this.
Correct.
So this is the unique approach, how we thought of this whole hybrid multi-cloud, which was the holy grail, as opposed to building, here is a one operating model, here is a one operating team which does AWS, here is another team which does Azure, and stitching them all together and boiling the ocean. So that allowed us that speed, agility, flexibility, and being able to sort of deliver those outcomes in time.
Any learnings from the team as part of that?
Massive learnings. You're like, as you would imagine, we had our fair share of highs and lows. But again, that is first thing first was to me was, pushing the boundaries, right? So it's like, you got to push. Transformation is all about change and managing the change. And the resistance to the change is also constant, right? So when you have resistance to change, what do you do? So you do, an extrinsic motivation runs out after some time in any project. You can motivate through speeches, you can motivate through customer values and so on and so forth, but it has to be intrinsic. You have to tie it down to people's aspirational goals, etc. So it has to be intrinsic, and there has to be discipline around it. So I think those things helped us by showing them, hey, you can learn something from HP, you can learn something from Red Hat. And that incentive paid off as a strategic partnership, as opposed to vendor and supplier. You give me this RFP and this compliance, which is important, by the way, which is very, very important. But besides that, when you shift the mindset, the mechanism shift, and it just, you start dropping your guards. When you start dropping your guards, you start to be more authentic. When you start to become more authentic, you start to collaborate better. When you start to collaborate better, you start to learn better. When you start to learn better, you start to deliver better. So I think that was a kind of like, I was blessed with that cycle where, thanks to the partnerships, where you came up with an open mindset, you guys and the team automatically embraced that mindset, and it became a flywheel. And I think I'm very proud where team has accomplished and the individual have grown. And sometimes I get told really a better verbiage and articulation of Cloud Infinity than anybody else.
Thanks so much, Ayush. I think it's been a great pleasure and great partnership, and we wish you a lot more innovation and a lot more napkin architectures for the future. And,
definitely. Well, thank you. I mean, again, it takes a village to raise a child, and the transformation journey is not easy. But again, it all starts with mindset.
Yeah. And thank you, Katelyn, for the way
Thank you.
the whole ecosystem has shaped up. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you.
that's
Thank
our panelists with a lot of invaluable perspectives and inputs on the StarHub's Cloud Infinity project. So leave us any question behind or follow us for more information on this. Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thanks.